This page is the front cover of the Dreamcast Magazine, issue 2 from December 1999. It's dedicated to Soul Calibur, billing it as an exclusive review and boldly stating, "Nothing else comes close." There's a prominent image of Ivy Valentine from Soul Calibur dominating the cover. They're clearly confident about the Dreamcast's future, proclaiming, "You ain't seen nothing yet" for Dreamcast gaming in the 21st century. There's a competition to win a Bang & Olufsen hi-fi system. Also featured is a how-to section with tips for Dreamcast problems, website recommendations, and cheats for ready-to rumbles. The cover also teases content within on games like Worldwide Soccer 2000, Revolt, Fighting Force 2, and Worms. This month's Dreamcast Magazine cover, CD, features demos and media for several games. Soul Calibur is highlighted for its graphics, with a movie file and magazine review included. Dynamite Cop offers a playable demo, letting players experience the beat-em-up featuring 3 characters and a bonus game. Buggy Heat presents a buggy racing demo, allowing progress saving. NFL Blitz 2000, an exaggerated football game, features a 4-player option and a movie file. Finally, SEF1 World Championship, aimed at F1 fans, emphasizes strategy and speed, also including a movie file and magazine review. An editorial, by Editor-in-Chief Mark Hyam, discusses the Dreamcast's performance, highlighting strong UK launch sales and comparing them to PlayStation and Nintendo launches. Highlighton expresses optimism about the console's future, citing developer support and the overall health of the video game market, and encourages readers to explore the magazine for more Dreamcast content. This page is the contents for issue 2, December 1999 of the Dreamcast magazine. You've got a striking image of a woman and a ninja character, taking up most of the right-hand side, probably teasing a feature inside. The contents lists highlights features like Future, Talent, Win, and 4Play, which sounds like the usual magazine fare. There's also a piece on Games Rooms of the Future, which is intriguing, and of course, Soul Calibur gets a spotlight, no surprise there given how good it looks. Finally, there's a section called Drinking and Thinking at the back, likely the magazine's opinion piece or review section. Down the left you've got thumbnails of games they'll be covering, including Sonic Adventure, SEGA Rally 2, Millennium Soldier, Monaco GP Racing, Trick Style, Dynamite Cop, Power Stone, Blue Stinger, Incoming, Tokyo Highway Challenge, Virtua Fighter 3 TB, and Ready-to Rumble Boxing. Looks like a decent spread of genres covered in this issue, and at the bottom left you have a Dreamcast advert, urging you to get a Dreamcast, get some games. Classic stuff. This magazine issue features reviews, previews, regular features, and a vibe section. Reviews highlight Soul Calibur as a standout title, alongside Snow Surfers, Suzuki Alster Extreme Racing, and WWF Attitude. Other reviewed games include Soul Fighter, Psychic Force 2012, and several others. Previews showcase Worldwide Soccer 2000, Fighting Force 2, and Worms Armageddon. Regular sections include editorials, gadgets, letters, and opinion pieces in Drinking and Thinking. The Vibe section offers People, Sega Q&A, a developer interview, and a House of the Dead 2 player guide. Additional content includes Vox Pops, reporting on the Glasgow Dreamcast launch, Group Therapy, discussing the Dreamcast's future, and a radio-controlled item mentioned on page 48. This page is a bold statement about the future of gaming on the Dreamcast. It's all about online play, and it's proclaiming that what we've seen so far in gaming is just the beginning. They're asking you to imagine taking part in massive online battles with players from all over the globe, where every character you meet is a real person. It's really hyping up the online multiplayer aspect of the Dreamcast. This page is continuing the Future of Gaming special report. It's really pushing the boundaries of imagination, envisioning games that react to your actual movements with mats and sword controllers, and role-playing experiences so realistic they'll bring you to tears when characters die. It's all about the games of tomorrow happening right now on the Dreamcast, boasting about the Power VR SDC graphics processor and internet processor, really highlighting the tech that's making these futuristic gaming dreams a reality in December 1999. This page continues the Future of Gaming special report and boldly declares, "The future is bright, the future is Dreamcast." We've got a chap pictured who's Alex Fry, lead programmer at Criterion Studios, and he's quoted saying, "Some of the most exciting ideas are about continuous, living game worlds where players can jump in and AI seamlessly takes over. It's all about how the Dreamcast's power is just starting to be tapped by developers, moving way beyond those initial launch titles. They're saying you ain't seen nothing yet in terms of what the Dreamcast is capable of, with developers only limited by their imagination. There's a bit further down musing about the developer experience, imagining what it's like to work with the Dreamcast and the power it brings. This article explores the Dreamcast's graphical capabilities and future potential. Ones to Watch highlights the console's power, with games like Soul Calibur, Sonic Adventure, and Ready to Rumble setting the stage. Developers, including Steve McCalla from Ubisoft, express excitement about the console's untapped potential, stating that the dreams are always beyond the reach of reality. Screenshots showcase Soul Calibur's crisp visuals, MDK2's impressive sniper zoom, and Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing's smooth, fast gameplay. Industry figures, including Mark Hartley from SEGA Europe, Paul Whipp from Virgin Interactive, and Trevor Wing from Power VR, emphasize that developers are only starting to fully exploit the Dreamcast's graphical prowess, hinting at even more visually stunning games to come. The overall message is that the Dreamcast is a powerhouse poised to revolutionize gaming graphics. The Future is Connectivity report explores the Dreamcast's potential. Action games are expected to support up to 32 players, while RPGs could handle millions. HD TV quality on the Dreamcast blurs the lines between PC and arcade visuals, with games like Power Stone and House of the Dead 2 showcasing arcade-perfect graphics. The Shesh 4 processor provides ample power, finally catching up with artistic game design. The VMU is poised to offer extra game information and features. Online play is a key focus, with the built-in modem enabling global multiplayer. The Dreamcast's online capabilities will extend to games like Zombie Revenge and Soul Calibur. Screenshots reveal cross-console play and training modes in fighting games, as well as the anticipated arrival of Samba de Amigo. This article previews the Dreamcast, focusing on its potential for online gaming and emotional impact. Claude Farge, a project manager at Ubisoft, expresses his desire for a game that evokes sadness, aiming for players to cry. The Dreamcast, with its PC-like architecture, attracts Japanese developers like Capcom, Konami, and Sega, who are developing online games. Sega anticipates around 12 online games by summer 2000, including Half-Life. The article emphasizes the Dreamcast's multiplayer capabilities, with action games supporting up to 32 players and RPGs potentially reaching millions. Games like Metropolis Street Racer, Dance Revolution, Soul Calibur, and Samba de Amigo are also mentioned. Future pages will delve further into the Dreamcast's online features and game reviews. Games like NA. The next page is a full-page advert for Power Stone on the Dreamcast. It's pushing it as the best 3D action game, and rightly so in my book. They've got some cracking review quotes from Edge and Arcade magazines, raving about its addictive gameplay and beautiful visuals. The advert also highlights the interactive environments, special moves, weapon power-ups like bazookas and flamethrowers, and the Power Stones themselves that boost your fighting abilities. There are a few screenshots showing the chaotic action and some of the colorful characters in the game. A proper arcade brawler for your home console. The UK Dreamcast launch was a massive success, breaking previous sales records with over 63,000 units sold in the opening weekend. Queues began forming at midnight on October 14th, fueled by events like the Sega Store rebranding and Piccadilly Circus Entertainment. Celebrities like Chris Evans and Nigel Benn attended launch events. Sonic Adventure and Ready to Rumble Boxing topped the charts. Pre-sales exceeded the PlayStation's record, and Sega Europe's boss called the UK reaction tremendous. However, internet registration issues arose due to high demand. The launch also had a darker side, with a mugging outside an electronics boutique, where a woman was stabbed for a Dreamcast. A Ready to Rumble launch event featured a gaming competition, where the winner virtually boxed Chris Eubank. Vox Pops highlighted excited fans' experiences, citing Ready to Rumble and other games as highlights. Despite setup issues for some, the launch was a whirlwind of excitement for Dreamcast enthusiasts. The next page features a City Slicker preview of Metropolis Street Racer, highlighting its set in London and Liverpool, using in-game screenshots. Bizarre Creations are developing this driving simulator, and it looks rather gorgeous. There's an extended play, online gaming special report focused on Sega Rally 2 Time Attack. They're encouraging players to get online and upload their best times to a ranking website. It mentions online features for Sonic Adventure 2, alongside KO Daycare. It seems they are keen to push the Dreamcast's online capabilities from the get-go, linking it with the recent launch and Halloween. ToeJam and Earl and DC previews the new ToeJam and Earl game, a 3D action-adventure. They're talking to the developers about the new direction after the Mega Drive classics, and it sounds like they are aiming for something special. A small, spooky section mentions Midway and Ready to Rumble 2 holding a Halloween event. In games news we get a glimpse of upcoming titles. Midway are bringing Hydro Thunder to Dreamcast, a water racing game, boasting impressive physics and handling. Swatch has partnered with Sega to incorporate their Swatch Internet Time into Dreamcast, which is a bit of a novelty. Climax are working on Runabout, or Crazy Taxi 2 as some might know it, promising more of the same driving mayhem. Sega Rally Championship 2 is touted as a potential Gran Turismo killer, which is fighting talk. Finally, ECW Hardcore Revolution is on its way for wrestling fans. This issue previews potential for a UFC game on Dreamcast. There's also a contest to win a Dreamcast carry bag. Sega is highlighted with a dedicated helpline for players and announces the Dreamcast's early worldwide launch. T-Please announces the upcoming golf game, Let's Golf. Sega and SES are collaborating on Dreamcast-based computer terminal technology. Ubisoft signed a deal for official Formula One games, including Formula One World Grand Prix. GGA Encounter reveals Capcom's Dreamcast version of Gigaring, including new modes. Due to demand, launches are delayed in Australia, New Zealand, and Russia. New translucent colored controllers are coming to America. Finally, Santa Commander is coming to town. Unveils a free Christmas mission for Toy Commander on the magazine's cover disc, including demos of other games. This review features Dreamcast highlights. Arcade Test focuses on Yu Suzuki's Ferrari F355 Challenge, lauded for its realism and arcade accuracy. Back from the Dead previews Resident Evil 2, claiming it surpasses the PC version with enhanced features and visuals, serving as a prelude to Code Veronica. The playlist reviews recent Dreamcast releases. Ready to Rumble Boxing scores a 9/10, praised for fun gameplay. NFL 2K Football 2000, Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, House of the Dead 2, and Hydro Thunder all score 8/10. Wafer Striker, Virtua Fighter 3TB, RS, Monaco Grand Prix, and Sega Bass Fishing each receive a 7/10, with varying strengths and weaknesses. The next page is a guide to the best websites, back in '99 of course, broken down into categories. We've got sections for game info, game publishers, movies, music, news, sport, and miscellaneous. In the game info section, they're highlighting sites like Dreamcast Mag at dreamcastmag.co.uk. Must have been their own site then. There's also Dreamcast Europe and Game Sages. Game publishers features Acclaim, Bizarre Creations. They did Metropolis Street Racer and Fur Fighters if you recall, and Capcom. Movies points to Ain't It Cool News and Empire Online for film info. Music is covered by .music and NME. News is BBC News and Electronic Telegraph, and sport is Board It and Football 365. Finally, miscellaneous includes Beeb.com, Deja.com, and The Onion for a bit of humor. It's a snapshot of the internet as it was back then, a useful little guide for Dreamcast owners wanting to explore the web beyond games, on their, admittedly clunky, Dreamcast web browser. The next page presents a split feature. On the left, we've got Boys vs. Girls, the Dreamcast Doorstep Challenge. It's a light-hearted piece about a social experiment, pitting two groups against each other to see if they'd swap their preferred games. They've got 4 people profiled: Sarah Ward, a bar staff member who likes Tekken 3 on PlayStation but Sega Rally on Dreamcast, and seems open to a Dreamcast. Scott Abercrombie, a traveler, is into Ready to Rumble Boxing on both consoles, and is maybe considering a Dreamcast swap. Marianne Walton, a pa, prefers Tomb Raider on PlayStation and House of the Dead 2 on Dreamcasts, and seems very keen on a Dreamcast. Lastly, Damien Sloan, a graphic designer, likes Gran Turismo on PlayStation and seems to lean towards Dreamcast but maybe not fully swapping. The article itself elaborates on this boys versus girls dynamic in gaming and their preferences. On the right side, it's a full-page advert pushing 3 racing games coming to the Dreamcast from Ubisoft. Speed Devils is touted as American arcade racing in the hot rod style. Racing Simulation Monaco Grand Prix is billed as a cutting-edge simulation. And finally, Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing is the official Suzuki All-Star team game. All are marked as coming soon with a race starts October 99 tag, giving us the release window. These were all hotly anticipated racing titles back then, each promising a different flavor of racing experience on the Dreamcast. This page showcases a collection of futuristic gadgets aimed at boys and girls. First up is the Cyber Fishing handheld game, a SEGA bass fishing experience you can take anywhere, even down by a canal apparently. They mention 20 types of fish and basic graphics, but it's pocket money fun, at £14.99. Dari. Then there's the NECR 100, a robotic home companion, a prototype no less. It's described as egg-shaped and friendly, designed to talk, take video messages, and even change the TV channels for you. Next, the Symbol Technologies CCS 2000 handheld scanner is pitched as a solution to shopping lists. Scan your groceries, download the list, and order online, all for £98. Moving on, we have the Alien Embryo, which is a bit of a strange one. Apparently, it's from the Gadget Shop, found in a bunker at Oddham's headquarters, a plastic alien floating in cold tea. It's described as a shocking truth and disturbing specimen, and you can grab one for £19.95. Lastly, the Kenwood VH650 speakers are highlighted. These are mini hi-fi speakers, designed to be wall-mounted and described as having an egg-shaped design and a stylish metal skin. They are priced at £499 for a more premium sound experience. The double-page spread features two articles. Oki Computer, by Dan Trent profiles DJ Paul Oakenfold's use of the Dreamcast as a creative tool for music, calling it as important as professional music gear. He uses it for DJ set preparation, demonstrating its creative potential beyond gaming. Dream Girl, by Warren Christmas showcases model Kate Groombridge promoting SEGA bass fishing. The article, framed as a playful interview, highlights her genuine interest in fishing, aligning with the game's premise. She emphasizes her preference for real fishing, while acknowledging her involvement in promoting the game through modeling. The piece cleverly uses her image to attract a wider audience to the game. Warren. The next page is a double-page spread. First up, we've got an advert for Gameplay.com, pushing their online game retail service, mad about life, serious about games type of vibe. It's got a woman really going for it with a Dreamcast controller, surrounded by consoles and games. They're highlighting things like a vast selection of over 3,000 games at rock-bottom prices, advice from real gamers, and free delivery. They're really trying to get you online buying your games there. Then on the right side, there's an article about Richard Jacques, titled One Man Band. He's a composer, apparently known for his work on SEGA games, and they're calling him the man behind the music for some of SEGA's games. It mentions he's been doing experiments with fruit and vegetables for sound, which is a bit quirky. He's been SEGA Europe's in-house sound guy, and apparently did the music for Daytona CCE, Worldwide Soccer 98, and Sonic 3D. It even mentions his most famous work is the cheesy Eurodance soundtrack for Sonic R, and name drops legendary Sonic creator Yuji Naka. He's clearly quite dedicated, built his own studio, and he uses a Dreamcast as an audio CD player, which is quite resourceful. They mention his ambition to create a secret game on Dreamcast around Christmas 2000 with a full orchestra. Sounds ambitious. The page's mailbox section features Dreamcast discussion. Readers are optimistic about the console, with some celebrating the PS2's delay and praising the Dreamcast's ease of use and impressive visuals when connected to a VGA box. Others discuss region locking, online gaming issues, particularly with Phantasy Star Online, and a faulty console with poor customer service. Game preferences include Ready 2 Rumbles and Power Stone. On the right side, a competition offers a Bang & Olufsen hi-fi system as a prize, tied to the game Soul Fighter. The contest requires answering a question about the game's characters. A blurb describes Soul Fighter as a game where players rescue souls from evil spirits, highlighting its sexy soul-light style and emphasis on slick graphics. This page is a preview of SEGA Worldwide Soccer 2000, the latest in the SEGA Worldwide Soccer series on Dreamcast, coming soon after Wafer Striker. Dan Trent is taking a look at what to expect as you emerge from the player's tunnel. The preview emphasizes the game's realism, flowing gameplay, and graphical detail, noting SEGA's investment in the title. They're aiming for realism that extends to the pitch itself, with highly detailed stadiums and crowds. The game aims to be faster and more accessible than Wafer Striker, focusing on smooth gameplay and reducing button delays. There's also a section with Clever Trevor, who does the commentary, discussing how they recorded a massive amount of commentary to cover many possibilities and make it sound natural and fresh, complementing the graphics and immersing the player in the game. The page includes screenshots with humorous captions capturing the tone of the commentary, like comments about Overmars kick-ups and bloody gooners. SEGA Worldwide Soccer 2000 is previewed, promising a realistic and accessible football experience. The game boasts variable weather, numerous international teams, detailed environments, and smooth gameplay. Clever Trevor returns for commentary, aiming for a fresh and immersive experience. Developed by Silicon Dreams and published by SEGA, it's slated for release around December 9th. STISA Fighting Force 2 from Core Design is also previewed. Players assume the role of Hawk Manson, an agent entangled in a conspiracy involving the CIA and Interpol. The game features 9 global locations across 24 stages, combining exploration and action, with emphasis on impressive visuals. Developed by Core Design and published by Eidos, it aims for a Christmas release. Gear. This page is a preview of the upcoming game Furballs from Bizarre Creations. It seems to be a third-person action-adventure, puzzle-solving game with cute and fluffy characters, and quite a bit of weapon usage judging by the screenshots. They describe it as world's fluffiest action game. Apparently the concept was originally known as Two Lesbians in a Jeep, which is certainly a talking point. The game involves rescuing babies and collecting tokens to progress, with levels set in locations like New Quack City. It's described as having a hub-based structure, and they mention up to 18 levels at launch. Sarah from Bizarre Creations is quoted saying it's meant to appeal to a wide audience, including kids, despite some potentially questionable humor. They've apparently toned down some elements and removed blood, and now use fluff instead of blood. The gameplay appears to involve platforming and combat, and there are mentions of a multiplayer fluff match mode. The game is still in development, but they aim for release around Easter. The next page previews Revolt, a radio-controlled car racing game that's looking rather good. It's all about realistic RC racing in everyday environments, with a focus on physics and stunts. They reckon it captures the essence of zipping around in RC cars as a kid, but with a proper video camera view attached. Kakulio. The article highlights the different locations you'll be racing, in botanical gardens, supermarkets, cruise ships, even a toy shop, all rendered in 3D. Gameplay-wise, expect plenty of stunts, and even weapons like oil slicks and electrical charges, which they say are great for torturing cats from long range. Cheeky. They also mention big tracks, and the freedom to explore, like driving under a parked car, or in an aircraft hangar. There's talk of a track editor to build your own courses, and multiplayer modes for up to 4 players. The article seems impressed, quoting, "This could be a brilliantly addictive and extremely manic racer." It's mentioned that the Dreamcast version visually looks quite simplistic at the moment compared to the PC version, but they are expecting it to match up. Developed by Acclaim, it's stated to be on sale from Thursday the 9th of December. This page features a couple of previews. First up is Evolution, described as the first RPG for the Dreamcast hitting the UK, developed by Sting and published by Ubisoft. The article suggests it's a quirky RPG where you explore ruins and dungeons with a party. They mention combat is turn-based and you collect experience and spells. The screenshots show a colorful anime style, with characters exploring various environments and facing enemies that look a bit like cartoonish monsters. Then we have a preview of Worms Armageddon, a game they rightly say is one of the finest multiplayer games around, heading to the Dreamcast. They talk about its popularity and the basic concept of turn-based strategy, with worms and crazy weapons. The screenshots show classic Worms gameplay with explosions and cartoon violence. It sounds like this Dreamcast version is going to be practically identical to the P&AC version in terms of features, and they even mention online play and new single-player training missions. They're making a point that Worms Armageddon is a massive success, and this Dreamcast version will include all the features of previous versions and more. MDK2, the sequel to Virgin's surreal action game, was previewed for the Dreamcast. The game features a 6-limbed dog, gunplay, and a cigar-chomping pooch, maintaining the first game's tongue-in-cheek style. Developers focused on improving puzzle elements. The playtesters, Tom, Toma, Martin and Omid, found the game potentially too easy, particularly concerning the controls, which utilize trigger buttons for camera and firing. Profiles of the playtesters are also provided. Tom Sharp is a graphic designer and a fan of Resident Evil 2 and Crazy Taxi. Toma Zygerman, a security professional, is a GoldenEye 007 fan looking forward to Metropolis Street Racer. Martin O'Neill, a sales assistant, prefers Gran Turismo but anticipates Metropolis Street Racer will be better. Omid Scobie, a student, is a Soul Calibur fan anticipating Shenmue. This page concludes the MDK2 preview, focusing on the playtesters' final thoughts. Omid expressed a desire for an easier control system, feeling they could have worked on it more. Tadema liked how the cinematics fit within the game. Martin made a slightly more bizarre comment about the six-armed dog being weird and needing a government health warning. Tom added that some parts had impressive filmic quality. The screenshots show in-game action, with one highlighting Max's best trick of shooting lots of bad guys. There's a right to reply section, where Greg Zeshuk, president and CEO of BioWare, and currently working with the development team for MDK2, responds to the feedback. He acknowledges the limited space for reply, but addresses key areas: controls, and story. He mentions that MDK2 uses a first-generation control code that is being reworked to improve control configuration and provide extensive tutorials. He touches upon the AI improvements, mentioning enemies will be more unpredictable and combat actions will be context-dependent. Regarding translation, they are aiming for more fun and less reliance on text to kill combat begins. He concludes by stating that they appreciate the feedback and are incorporating suggestions to improve the game based on observations. There's a small note at the bottom indicating next issue will feature reader letters, unfinished games, and interviews with developers. This piece from 2001 envisions the ultimate Dreamcast gaming setup. The ideal room includes a fishing rod for fishing games, a widescreen TV for superior graphics, and Technics decks for music mixing. A steering wheel is essential for racing games, alongside high-quality speakers for immersive audio. The setup also incorporates a keyboard for email and word processing, a PC, though integration wasn't yet available, and a printer for web content. At the heart of it all sits the Dreamcast itself, a 128-bit bundle of joy. The article playfully notes that despite these advancements, a true space odyssey of gaming hadn't yet arrived. This page from a Dreamcast magazine humorously envisions the future of gaming rooms in 2010, cheekily titled Future Gaming Rooms 2016. It highlights several gadgets, starting with a $2,000 robot dog and a webcam for online banter. Gaming is enhanced with toy guns, a comfy game seat with rumble, and a pricey plasma screen with impressive graphics. Other envisioned technologies include sensory gloves for enhanced immersion, a HomeEnt system that combines various entertainment devices, and an extra screen dedicated to online gaming. The overall tone is light-hearted, reflecting a nostalgic look at how the gaming world was anticipated, with a focus on gadgets and interactive experiences, playing a football game, likely FIFA. In 2050, gaming rooms have reached a new level. GameTech boasts full-body sensory experiences and anti-grey room systems designed to be hyper-addictive. Master controls offer central management of room features, including heating, lighting, and security, though the primary function may be ordering pizza and beer. Holo TV delivers immersive holographic displays, allowing players to virtually experience environments like a football pitch. Finally, Robo Butler, Robo Elieve's version 2.1, provides automated service, free from the judgment and potential murderous tendencies of traditional butlers. The room features are designed to provide the ultimate in futuristic gaming comfort and convenience. This Dreamcast magazine issue advertises a subscription offer with significant savings and free delivery, urging readers to subscribe quickly. The magazine then delves into its review section, heralding the Dreamcast as a gaming revolution, highlighting online play and downloadable content. A range of games are reviewed, showcasing the console's diverse offerings. Dynamite Cop and Street Fighter Alpha 3 earned high scores of 93% and 94% respectively, while sports titles like NBA Showtime and NFL Quarterback Club 2000 garnered 92% and 91%. Soul Calibur surprisingly received a lower score of 64%. Other reviewed titles included Buggy Heat, Formula 1, Marvel vs. Capcom, Pen Pen, Psychic Force, Snow Surfers, Soul Fighter, Suzuki All-Star, and WWF Attitude, with varying scores reflecting a mixed bag of genres. This page is dedicated to Soul Calibur, boldly declaring it's going to blow you away and pummel its way into gaming history. There's a large image of Ivy, one of the game's characters, dominating the right side of the page. The text mentions that just over a month after release, the Dreamcast already has one of the most spectacular games of all time. It highlights that Ed Lomas was almost overwhelmed when asked to write the official UK review. Interestingly, despite this hype, the previous page's review section gave Soul Calibur a rather lukewarm score of 64%, which is quite a contrast to this page's enthusiastic tone. This page heavily promotes Soul Calibur as a revolutionary game, The article boasts about its groundbreaking quality and essential status. It highlights an in-game battle between Ivy and Astaroth, showcasing the soul charge mechanic, where fighters power up with a special attack. An interview with the developers, Teruki Konishi and Shinobu Nimura, reveals their inspirations and their focus on optimizing the game for all skill levels, emphasizing originality. Finally, the text details the intuitive control system, explaining attacks, guarding, and movement, emphasizing the game's accessibility and depth. Numerous screenshots showcase various characters in action, further solidifying Soul Calibur's position as a must-have Dreamcast title. Quest for the Soul Edge in Soul Calibur is a mission-based mode perfect for learning the game. Starting with tutorials from the Edgemaster, players learn basics and unlock new missions by completing objectives, earning artwork along the way. Each mission features a unique backstory and increases in difficulty, challenging players to master the fighting system's depth, including combos and opponent reading. The Mission Battle World Map is a Dreamcast exclusive mode. Players select a character and navigate a world map, engaging in various challenges. Examples include a Colosseum battle, a poisoned maze, raft-based combat, a fight in a mansion, a surprise attack, and a battle in a garden. The mode offers diverse scenarios designed to test players' skills and provide varied gameplay experiences. The next page showcases a review for Soul Calibur, awarding it a perfect 10 out of 10 score. It's hailed as one of the greatest games ever made. The review highlights the Mission Battle mode, exclusive to the Dreamcast, and the Quest for Soul Edge mode, emphasizing its depth and replayability. Screenshots illustrate various characters and fighting scenarios, including Rock vs Edgemaster, Siegfried, Ivy, Maxi, and Lizardman. The expert opinion section features Keith Hazeldewood, from the British Kendo Association, praising the game's realistic depiction of weapon fighting and its engaging gameplay. The Sega Bass Fishing Rod controller is also mentioned as a fun way to play, adding an extra layer of immersion. The review concludes by reiterating the game's exceptional quality and solidifying its status as a must-have title for the Dreamcast. This page features a review for Snow Surfers on the Dreamcast. Dan Trent reviews this snowboarding title, saying it's time to get those baggies on and adopt a West Coast accent as snowboarding hits the Dreamcast. The review highlights the game's speed, noting that everything moves with lightning speed, even in two-player mode. Graphically, it's described as having block-rocking beats and superbly rendered backgrounds, though it does have a blocky initial impression. The single-player mode is said to be addictive and fun, and a two-player mode is also available. The verdict is a mixed bag, stating it's easy to get into but lacking that much-needed edge, and the game receives a score of 6 out of 10. There's also a Speak Out section, featuring Champ Cat Sato from Sega of America, and a walkthrough segment titled Pieced Again, offering tips for that mode. The next page reviews Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing on the Dreamcast. This motorbike racer from Criterion gets a solid 7 out of 10. The review opens by saying you don't need greasy beard and motorhead to enjoy it, although it helps. It highlights the game's speed, and the fact that the bikes are modeled on real-life vehicles used by Team All-Star. The reviewer mentions the variety of tracks and the stomach-churning first-person view. There's a Speak Out section with Adrian Moore from Criterion, one of the game's designers, who mentions enjoying the speed and the white-knuckle ride of the game. The review also mentions the game's learning curve and the championship mode, noting the tracks are varied and well-designed. It praises the action when entering narrow tunnels and suggests that despite some graphical glitches, it's still a lot of fun to play. The rev-through on your bike section gives a quick look at 5 tracks in the game: Sandstone Canyon, Tropical Trail, White Mountain, Brooklyn Nights, and lush, tree-filled scenery. The verdict section praises the fantastic fun, despite some flaws, listing uppers as the spot and learning curve and varied courses, while downers include annoying pop-up and collision detection issues. It also mentions the website for more info, website being ubisoft.co.uk, and allstar.net for real-life All-Star team players, and mentions it's a full-screen game. The price is listed at £39.99, published by Ubisoft, and developed by Criterion. This page reviews Soul Fighter, a new beat-em-up game for the Dreamcast. It's described as a third-person fantasy role-player with platform elements, certainly a mouthful. The review suggests it's all about action and speed, rather than strategy. It mentions the storyline involves rescuing souls from demonic beasts, and playing as one of 3 characters. Combat is highlighted with combos, power-ups and special moves, all the usual stuff. There are 2 main play modes mentioned, a straightforward adventure, and a time-based arcade mode. There's a speak-out section with Louis Beatty from Piggyback Interactive, where he talks about Soul Fighter being a true arcade gameplay experience, and the first next-generation game he's seen from another developer that impressed him. He praises the character animations and the dedicated motion capture, saying it really brings personality to the characters. The reviewer reckons it's all about being surrounded by enemies and constantly fighting, quoting, "All of a sudden you find yourself being attacked from all sides by demonic beasts. Combos are key apparently, and there's treasure to find to help you on your quest." They also touch on the animation and movement, saying it's smooth and well animated, which is always welcome. It sounds like a decent action romp to pass the time with. This page continues the review of Soul Fighter, highlighting the gameplay with screenshots showing one-on-one fights, tooling up, using axes and crossbows, and dealing with swarms of enemies. The review mentions that the arcade mode sets a time limit for each level, and enemies attack from all angles. The verdict box labels the game concept as bold concept, fast-moving, but becomes a bit repetitive. The upper's point is, fast-moving action uses an inventive combination of genres easy to get into. And the downers is, gameplay suffers from a lack of variety, visuals lack any real flair, one player only. In 1 hour playing, the reviewer mentions, they were kicking some possessed butt. Website is stated as TBA, max players is 1, and video modes as full screen PAL. The game is scored 6 out of 10. The right side of the page is an advert for the Neo Geo Pocket Color handheld, boasting 40 hours of continuous playtime, 16-bit color power, 14 hot titles, 6 cool cases and 1 machine with 0 alternative. It shows images of the handheld in various colors, and mentions it's available at Electronics Boutique, Game, HMV, MVC, Dixon's, Currys and Jakarta. The price for the Neo Geo Pocket Color is £59.99, and games are £24.99. The next page presents 2 game reviews, Psychic Force 2012 and Pen Trilcellion. Psychic Force 2012 is described as a unique fighting game set in 360-degree arenas. The reviewer seems impressed, highlighting the anime presentation and the strategic element of psychic powers and positioning within the cube-shaped arenas. Screenshots showcase in-game action with characters like Keith and Genshin, with comments about Keith's ice attacks and training mode. The game is praised for its depth, requiring players to think creatively and strategically, and is recommended for fighting game fans. The verdict is, for hardcore fighting action, start right here, with uppers noting the combat system, and downers mentioning the learning curve and slightly dated visuals. The score given is 7 out of 10. Pen Trilcellion is reviewed as a very different, more light-hearted game. It's described as a balmy Dreamcast experience where you control pens. These wobbly penguin-like creatures. The review emphasizes its simple pick-up-and-play nature, stating it's easy to describe but harder to explain without sounding odd. It mentions the races taking place on themed tracks, and the focus on fun gameplay over complexity. A walkthrough, Fun in the Kitchen section is included with tips for navigating different levels, involving windmills, rotating floors and trampolines. The uppers are listed as cute and innovative, but far too easy, and downers as lacks a decent challenge, and is too brief. The game receives a score of 6 out of 10. This page showcases F1 World Grand Prix for the Dreamcast. It's pitching itself as the first official F1 game on the system, with a chap called Dan Trent on commentary duties, which is a bit of alright. The article talks about putting you in the driving seat, and how Formula 1 was in a bit of a dull spot not long back, but thankfully things have picked up again. They mention the sheer number of F1 fans worldwide, suggesting this game will tap into that passion. It also highlights the attention to detail, suggesting they've really gone to town on the track design, covering things like curbs, dips and gradients to give a proper racing experience. There's a tagline on the road again, implying this game is bringing back the excitement of F1 gaming. This review of F1 World Grand Prix on the Dreamcast praises its realistic portrayal of Formula 1 racing. The review highlights the game's attention to detail, particularly in track design, with screenshots showcasing its visual quality. Developer Wide System discusses the effort put into the car model for both fun and realism, noting the evolving game production values. Silverstone Drive instructors tested the game, praising its realism and amazing drive, with lap times compared to real-world data. The review further emphasizes the accurate recreation of the Silverstone circuit, Finally, the game's challenging difficulty is emphasized, promising a rewarding experience for players aiming to master the game and beat expert times, even mentioning Mika Hakkinen in a time attack mode. This page continues the review of F1 World Grand Prix. It highlights further details like things getting trickier in the wet, and the impressive visuals, such as the Ferris wheel detail in the atmosphere. The review emphasizes the superb playability, noting the balance between arcade fun and accurate simulation, praising the car handling and the satisfaction of mastering the corners. It mentions the impressive visuals, stating the detail doesn't come at the expense of gameplay depth or challenge. The uppers are listed as balanced and involving gameplay, and the downers are for those wanting two-player mode. The verdict section states, the game is lavish in detail and lush in visuals without sacrificing depth and challenge. The final score given is 8 out of 10. On the right side of the page there's an advert for Jakarta, who are promoting their unfair advantage low web prices. The advert features a cartoon of a golfer using a remote control to cheat. They are advertising games like Soul Calibur, available for pre-order at £29.99, and Sonic Adventure, also priced at £29.99. They mention a huge range, low prices and 48-hour delivery. FreeServe is mentioned as the easiest way to find their website at jakarta.co.uk, and they also list a phone number, 0800 092 0077. WWF Attitude for the Dreamcast is reviewed. The game is criticized for unresponsive controls and sluggish gameplay, a stark contrast to wrestling's evolving theatricality. The reviewer notes the shift from tamer wrestling styles to the Attitude era, contrasting it with older games. Despite capturing wrestler trademarks, taunts, and moves, and offering numerous game modes including a career mode, the review is largely negative. A creator-wrestler feature, allowing for classic wrestler creation, is highlighted. The review's verdict is harsh. The world's most ludicrous sport made dull. While the game has authentic presentation and a wide roster, the unresponsive controls, sluggishness, and average graphics earn it a low score of 3/10. Buggy Heat, a Dreamcast off-road racer, receives a 4/10. While offering a different experience for Sega Rally 2 fans with jumps and monster trucks, its bland level design and slow handling hinder enjoyment. Pros include online features and replay cameras, but it suffers from poor sound and frustrating controls. Dale. NFL Quarterback Club 2000 earns a 5/10. It attempts to simulate American football, serving a purpose due to the lack of NFL games on the Dreamcast. The game is easy to learn and fun with friends. Upsides include a reasonable gameplay and a lower player mode, but its downsides include confusing menus and dodgy player models. It is a reasonable attempt that probably won't impress non-fans. This magazine page reviews 3 Dreamcast games. Marvel vs. Capcom earns a 5/10, praised for its smooth animation and 4-player mode despite a weak arcade fighter conversion and chaotic action. NBA Showtime. NBA on NBC gets a 6/10, described as a fast-paced arcade-style basketball game perfect for parties, although not worth the full price. Dynamite Cop, a beat-em-up, also receives a 5/10. While fun with martial arts, weapons, and a survival mode, it suffers from tedious quick-time events, a short length, and a lack of excitement compared to games like Power Stone. It features online content, but ultimately falls short of being a must-buy. This page is a review of Street Fighter Alpha 3, Saikyo Dojo on the Dreamcast, scoring it a solid 8 out of 10. The review emphasizes it as a top-quality conversion of a great fighting game. It highlights the dramatic battles where 2 players can team up in dramatic battle mode, which is fun, although it mentions it's best enjoyed with another player. The review points out the classic Street Fighter gameplay mechanics are all present and correct, with 6 buttons for control. It mentions the impressive roster of 33 characters, a classic element of the Street Fighter Alpha series, and the inclusion of the World Tour mode as a single-player challenge where you customize your fighter. Visually, they're impressed with the 128-bit flashiness. The verdict is positive overall, praising it as a great fighting game on the Dreamcast, with the only real negative being the fiddly standard Dreamcast pad, recommending the official arcade stick for the true experience. The Speak Out section features a quote from Tony Bayes, a producer of Street Fighter Alpha 3, who discusses the game's speed, character roster, and the addition of the World Tour mode. Screenshots showcase classic characters like Vega, Hiei, Mika E, Honda, Old Gen, and Akuma in typical Street Fighter Alpha 3 action. Reviews Roundup takes a humorous look at drinking, starting with a novelty bar, Oxygen in London, where patrons inhale pure oxygen. The reviews then dive into games. Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing, Motorbike Racer, Snow Surfers, Snowboarding, Soul Fighter, Fighting Game, Soul Calibur, Sword Fighting, and F1 World Grand Prix, Formula One Racing. Top reviewers played the games, then enjoyed some drinks, leading to a lively review session with Dan Trent seemingly worse for wear. This Dreamcast Magazine review roundup, playfully titled And Thinking, covers a diverse selection of games. Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing receives mixed reviews, ultimately considered average with texture issues, and a general disinterest from some reviewers. Snow Surfers, a futuristic hoverboarding game, is praised for its speed and course variety, despite some criticism of character design. Soul Fighter, a beat-em-up with RPG elements, is deemed fun despite its simplicity, with praise for its characters. Soul Calibur, highly anticipated, is lauded for its stunning visuals and gameplay, earning enthusiastic recommendations. Finally, F1 World Grand Prix, the official F1 game, impresses with its smooth graphics, attention to detail, and balanced difficulty, receiving high praise. This advertisement from Gameplay, a UK mail-order game supplier, promotes their free 64-page catalogue featuring games for Dreamcast, PlayStation, N64, and PC. The ad highlights Dreamcast accessories like light guns, keyboards, and visual memory units. The right side showcases a selection of Dreamcast games, including titles like Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, and Sega Rally 2, all priced at £32.99 or less, reflecting the console's early days. A long list of available UK Dreamcast titles is provided. Additionally, the ad includes a section for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, selling games, and a link cable. The ad concludes with a mail order form, common for the time. Vibe Vox Pops presents Tartan Gamers Brave the Cold, covering the Dreamcast launch in Scotland on October 14th. Interview snippets reveal enthusiastic gamers, primarily young men, who pre-ordered and were eager for the console's launch. They discuss anticipated titles like Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Wafer Striker, Ready to Rumble, House of the Dead, and Tomb Raider. Other popular mentions include Power Stone, Sega Rally, Soul Calibur, and Sonic Adventure. The page also includes a short and sweet section with cheat codes. These range from a Dreamcast online play reset trick to unlocking vehicles in Tokyo Highway Challenge, Honda S2000 and Porsche 911. Sonic Adventure's hidden minigames and Mortal Kombat Gold's costume unlocks are also highlighted. Overall, the piece captures the excitement of the Dreamcast launch and provides helpful tips for players. This page delves into gamer obsession with two amusing anecdotes. The first one, under the heading, "You know you're obsessed when you play a game all weekend in the office," recounts a tale of someone who got seriously engrossed in gaming at work over a weekend. They started with Star Trek games and Nintendo games, then moved on to Dreamcast, playing so intensely, they ended up sleeping under their desk and getting told off by security. Then there's, "You know you've hit the big time when you're named as the player of the century," which focuses on the legendary Billy Mitchell, famous for his Pac-Man skills. It talks about his dedication to Pac-Man since 1982, achieving the perfect score and being recognized as the player of the century. It mentions his Pac-Man gameplay was so intense, it involved strategies like stopping, tapping and cheering. Apparently he even got a call from some Canadians when he retired from the game. Elta. There's also a little box called Puts Off, discussing the issue of employees using company internet and bandwidth for gaming, saying it's costing businesses. And lastly, Record Breakers highlights Stephen Kingman, a Pac-Man player who set a new world record of 3,336,440 points, surpassing Mike Chaste's previous record from 1987. So, all in all, it's a page celebrating the intense passion and dedication some people have for gaming, especially Pac-Man it seems. The next page shows an advert for a Dreamcast games console carry bag, promising a safe and convenient way to transport your beloved console and accessories. It's touted as heavily padded, water-resistant, and even lockable for ultimate security. It mentions it can hold the Dreamcast console, 2 controllers, leads and games, and features a detachable shoulder strap. The price is advertised at £24.99, and it's available from BT's. Then there are a couple of humorous articles about gaming obsession. The first, "You know you're obsessed when your partner is a games fanatic," tells a story from a woman called Bexy about her partner's intense gaming. She jokingly complains about him preferring computer games to bedroom games, citing general gaming habits like playing Mario and Sonic. though not Dreamcast titles of course, but just examples to illustrate the point, neglecting chores, and even playing at work. It mentions his Star Wars obsession too. The other article, Full-on Fanaticism, is a bit more serious, discussing how a woman named Jennifer divorced her husband because of his gaming addiction. It highlights the financial side of things, mentioning spending on Star Wars merchandise and trips to conventions, and how it impacted their relationship, leading to the split. This Dreamcast Magazine page features a Q&A with SEGA, discussing upcoming NFL 2K and basketball games. They prioritize software enhancements over hardware upgrades, and advise on using SCART cables for improved picture quality, while also acknowledging the affordability of Platinum range games, and the VMU's connection to Naomi arcade machines. SEGA confirms sticking with the 33.6K modem and mentions Christmas bundles. The page also includes a section on Dreamcast accessories, like racing seats and arcade sticks, with price listings. A competition to win games and accessories is highlighted. Finally, a comprehensive list of Dreamcast game titles and their prices is provided, spanning various genres. Contact information for SEGA's consumer service and internet support is included. Kicker. Ubisoft, a longtime developer, is committed to the Dreamcast, showcasing their signature style seen in titles like Rayman. In a developer Q&A, they discuss Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulator, explaining that while they lack the FIA license, they hold the prestigious Automobile Club de Monaco license, which provides design flexibility. They are developing VM unit downloads with updated driver and team names. They confirm the Dreamcast's power and positive reception of Rayman 2. They're reusing the Vroom engine for multiple games including Speed Devils, designed specifically for the Dreamcast, and confirm a new F1 game is coming. They highlight a good relationship with SEGA and are prioritizing Dreamcast-suited games, like Rayman 2. Online gaming is also included. Delays have been made to improve game quality, and they have many upcoming titles including a new F1 title, Rayman 2, Deep Fighter, Hogs of War, Might and Magic V2I, Soul Fighter, Omicron, The Nomad Soul, and a strategy title called Architera, as well as Stupid Invaders. Rayman is also getting an animated TV series. This player guide for the House of the Dead 2 aims to help players conquer the challenging light gun shooter. It provides advice across multiple aspects of gameplay. Beginner tips cover fundamentals like shot placement and projectile avoidance. Practice is emphasized to improve reaction time and accuracy. Specific boss strategies are offered for mini-bosses like Judgment Type 28, and bosses such as Hierophant Type B and Tower Type 8000, highlighting weak points and attack patterns. The guide also covers power-ups available in original mode, and reveals secrets such as unlocking special endings and bonus rooms through high scores. Additional sections detail specific techniques like Hydro Thunder's boost jump, and cheat menus. Finally, the guide offers stage-specific tips for the initial levels, including strategic shooting points. This page is a player guide for Ready 2 Rumble Boxing, offering tips to transform you from a chump to champ. It spotlights 4 characters: Salua Tua, Afro Thunder, Lulu Valentine and Rocket Samche. For each fighter, there's a breakdown of their fighting basics, which covers general strategy and how to utilize their strengths in the ring. Alongside this, special moves are detailed with button combinations, like Salua Tua's Pork Chop, Afro Thunder's Up Tempo, Lulu Valentine's Spring Assault, and Rocket Samche's Rocket Launcher. Each section is illustrated with screenshots, demonstrating the moves in action. It's a handy guide for getting to grips with the game's diverse roster and special moves. This Ready 2 Rumble Boxing player guide focuses on Butcher Brown and Big Willie Johnson. Butcher Brown's strategy involves jabs and rumble mode, with special moves like Brute Disaster. Big Willie relies on reach and quick jabs, utilizing special moves such as Clockwork and Tea and Crumpets. The guide also reveals unlockables. Players can unlock classes via name entries, along with features like life recovery, costumes, and minigames, including Sega Bass Fishing. Additional unlocks include the ability to control tails and use stealing props. The next month section previews a playable CD, news on Metropolis Street Racer, and holiday content. The cover CD features playable demos and movies for various games, including Snow Surfers and Soul Fighter. The next issue is scheduled for release on December 9th. This page showcases a Future Shock article. It's a group therapy session with various industry heads, all pondering the future of gaming. We've got Emily Newton-Dunn from Bits on Channel 4, Gary Penn, the creative manager at DMA Design, Nick Talbot from Seymour Powell, Jez San of Argonaut Software, Helen Lawson from a PC games company, and Ash Parkin from the Computer Exchange's Retro Shop. They are all discussing where gaming is headed in 10 years' time, questioning if VR headsets will become the norm, or if consoles will even still be around and if kids will still be interested. Gary Penn from DMA Design, known for games like Lemmings and Grand Theft Auto, reckons games are looking better graphically but feels it's not necessarily making them more enjoyable. Nick Talbot discusses the graphical power of Dreamcast and how games are becoming more realistic, asking if that actually makes for better games. Jez San, from Argonaut, who are currently developing Red Dog and Croc 2 for the Dreamcast, touches upon how games have moved away from the physical product and towards experiences. Ash Parkin from the Retro Shop talks about people still wanting physical media, sleeves and DVDs, preferring to buy games rather than just downloading them. It's a snapshot of the industry at the time, grappling with the changes that were on the horizon. The Vibe Group Therapy panel discusses the future of gaming, starting with physical media. They debate whether on-demand gaming will fully replace physical copies, with some believing brick-and-mortar stores will persist. They then consider the console versus PC debate, leaning towards consoles for affordability and multiplayer ease, while also acknowledging the potential of integrated TV processors. The group also talks about graphics versus gameplay, with some questioning the focus on realism. The conversation shifts to gender and gaming, with the panel discussing whether more women will play games, and whether gaming is becoming more competitive. They then debate if gaming will evolve in the future, questioning whether we'll see new genres or just sequels. The panel thinks that developers will continue to create what people want, which, as things currently stand, will lead to sequels. This page showcases the Getting Personal section, a humorous take on Lonely Hearts ads for Dreamcast gamers, seeking connections based on shared gaming interests. You've got chaps looking for ready-to-rumble partners, console modders wanting to share ideas, and even those admitting to being evil doctor types. Quite amusing, really. A light-hearted bit of fun in the mag. Ignue Day. Turning over, we've got a full-page advert for UKDreamcast.com, flogging all sorts of Dreamcast gear. It's pushing their special reserve club, promising loads of freebies and discounts, trying to tempt you in by saying 500,000 people have already joined. They're offering a free gift with sign-up, a free game if you buy anything, and a whole host of other bonus bits if you go for the full membership, like bonus games and internet guides. Joined. They're pushing Dreamcast consoles for £199.99, or a tenner a week, and boasting about it being the world's most powerful console. Good bit of marketing spin there. Then there's a load of games listed at £33.99 each, including the usual suspects like Ready-to-Rumble 2, Sega Rally 2, Sonic Adventure, Power Stone, Wafer Striker, Worms Armageddon, and Soul Calibur. Down the side, they've got Dreamcast peripherals like controllers, vibration packs, steering wheels, memory units, and even light guns and fishing rods. Rounding it off, they're advertising Dreamcast books, including official strategy guides for Power Stone and Ready-to-Rumble 2. Looks like they're trying to shift everything and anything Dreamcast related at once.